Clinic, because he has a take on Halo today.
Halo campaign devolved. The remake no one was waiting for
God, he's hiding those knees like his life depends on it.
is finally here. Are you ready, boys? Halo 1, but remade. Are you shaking with anticipation? The remake to one of gaming's best and most influential shooters. It can only be good, right?
Oh, yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it, Clinic. Don't tell me what's wrong with it. Don't ruin my fun. Why would you do that to me? I thought you were a healer, Clinic. Clinic.
Right. Oh, have I got a lot to say about this game. Let's talk about it. 5 years after the tragedy of Halo Infinite, 343, sorry, I meant Halo Studios, absolutely is
the most unnecessary change in existence. Oh no, we're Halo Studios now. We're just gonna work on Halo games. Okay, so you guys are one-trick ponies who can't even do the trick. And you named yourselves Halo Studios without learning the trick to make a Halo game. Who do you think you are, Sony Santa Monica Studios?
not the same studio. Completely different. This one has an eye patch. 343 have decided to revisit the game that started it all. The game that launched the Xbox, evolved the FPS genre, inspired countless games of today. So naturally, I should only have good things to say about this game. Wrong! The great Halo combat evolve sometimes shines through, but...
You know, my videos of me standing up are actually inspired by Clinic. Because, like, in my Sphere group, I wasn't seeing, like, a lot of the same... And not to, like, say that there isn't quality, but I wanted to do, like, more, like, production-based videos. Especially since I have a green screen and everything. So once he starts standing up, moving around, I'm like, hey, you know, maybe I can do that, especially with my green screen stuff. So, yeah, a lot of big thanks. So if you ever see me do that again in another video, he's why.
The absolute incompetence, the disappointment, the sheer lack of quality that is 343 is also there. We managed to screw up the future of Halo. Why don't we go back and screw up the past? That will bring Halo fans back. Let's get into this review.
I think Smash is absolutely right. I think that they should just fire everybody at Halo Studios right now. They cannot deliver a game. They can't make the fans happy when the old team used to do it cheaper and better. That's the moral of the story here, no matter what.
Ooh. Vision buff.
Oh, that's a great point. Would Bethesda be Skyrim Studios after remaking it 5 times? The Anniversary Edition. The PS5 Ultimate Edition. Like, seriously, 5 times? I think it's been more than 5. We'll take a look at it after this.
I don't want to. Spoilers, by the way. Let's get this over with. The first thing you might notice is my game looks like complete cheeks. It looks like Greasy I've been playing World of Warcraft for 7 days cheeks. The reason why is because this is the only way I could get a smooth frame rate of 48, because you can choose 48 or 72, but not 60. Never seen that before, but okay.
How do you not have 60 FPS as just an option? That is strange. Very, very strange, Halo Studios. I didn't even know that.
Okay, I'm playing on a 3080, which isn't one of the latest GPUs, but it is no slouch. With low settings and left at native, the frame rate drops. So I have to use DLSS, which makes the game look like utter trash. Look at this! This is DLSS on Ultra. Why is the mounting doing that? This is the worst I've ever seen a game use upscaling technology. I was forced down to 1080p as well. Forced to play like a peasant? If you've got a better
Oh. You think that's bad, Clinic? One day you will stream. And it's going to fuck up, especially, like, you're going to have to put those settings kind of low. Man, I really want Clinic to stream. Man, that would be the bee's knees if you ever started streaming. Then we could see, like, a second channel with all of his clips. Be baller.
Graphics card, I'm sure the game will look amazing, but if you're relying on upscaling, it looks pretty pathetic. The game stutters like crazy. If there's one thing you can rely on an Unreal Engine 5 game to do, it's stutter like a fat kid caught in a cookie jar for the 10th time today. There are some bugs. My weapon sometimes just wouldn't fire. I was holding the button down, but nothing. Not like that's important to the game or anything. The opening cutscene...
Shooting? No. Clinic. They're trying to help you out. You can't fix the game. You know? Like, no, wow, let me rephrase. It's easier to fix the game if there's less bullet holes. How are you supposed to heal him, Clinic? How? How?
Into the new prequel mission started off as a black screen, but those were the only problems I had with the game from a technical standpoint. Oh, and this guy dies before he gets shot. It bothers me. The problems I had with the performance were really frustrating because the graphics are really good. It's probably one of the better looking games to come out, but I don't think many people will experience what it should look like with everything to the max. The cinematics look great, although the faces on these characters look like they're having a stroke. That is not how faces are supposed to move. Look at my boy Steve Harvey. Wait, who the f*** is that? And sometimes the audio does not match how they...
Yeah, that is a little uncanny valley.
Their mouths move. You end up with this. Master Chief, the Covenant is coming. The real enemy is Unreal Engine 5.
That just reminds me of Mass Effect. Mass Effect had those same issues. But the thing is, back in the day, like in the Mass Effect times, it was a little bit more acceptable. Like once you kind of got used to the game, everything else in the game was working just fine. You kind of just went with it. It was kind of part of its charm. But if you're going to say that you're going to be remaking the most, if not the most influential game in modern gaming history, you have to fucking nail it. And if you're not going to nail it, and if you're not going to get it right, then why are you even trying at all? Why even release it? I need the Michael Jordan meme. Stop it. Get help. I should make this an emote. Okay, hold on. Hold on, let's do it again. I need to get his head right. Okay. Yeah? Yeah. I think I got it. We can work with this. Hold on, let me save it. There we go. All right, I'll work on that tonight.
It's worth mentioning that while the game is using Unreal Engine 5, it's also using a modified Halo Reach engine, so it's a hybrid engine. There are some visually stunning moments in the game though. 343 Guilty Spark in particular looks great, with the fire and the crashed ships. The darkness of the facility and the lighting is really good in those moments. One detail I really like is how the plasma guns light up the hallways. That's a cool detail. You can tell though that this is their first time using Unreal Engine 5. Looks good, but it barely works, you know? Speaking of a team that doesn't know what they're doing, you like the art style in Halo 1, huh? You like the aesthetic of the game? Yeah, I bet you do. That's mostly gone. There are parts of the game where it looks like a faithful recreation of what Halo 1 was. The Pillar of Autumn, for example, looks great. Looks like what you'd imagine it to look like. Keys looks great with a green liquid all over the place. There are even parts of the game that I think Halo Studios, 343, improved on. Yes, that's right, I'm capable of praising 343. Showing the Flood taking over these installations is a nice touch, and definitely adds to the threat of the Flood. I just don't know why it's so orange. There's a weird orangey glow. Thought I was playing Doom for a second.
What this reminds me of, guys, remember in the PS3 where it had that kind of yellowish, like that bright yellow filter on all the PS3 games? Like you saw it in Uncharted 1 and 2, especially. But that was like on all the PS3 like major studio games. This is what this reminds me of. It's like they didn't know how to use the engine, so they had to go to a backup thing in order to make it look decent.
My problem is the changes they've made to the Forerunner architecture. It just looks way too stylish. They're losing how mysterious and ominous it was. It just looks like generic sci-fi now. In the original, it looked old and ancient. Really made you feel like it was old technology in old rooms. Now it feels
like one of those old but new. You know, like it. The problem is that it doesn't look like ancient technology. It looks like recognizable technology that you would see in Star Trek. It doesn't look different. It doesn't have that ancient technology look, you know what I mean?
Like something from the present and it loses something. It's made really obvious in the library, which also has the build-up of flood goop all over the place.
See, over here. It's like you see the same filter from the PS3. That hazy... And this time it's just not yellow, it's just hazy.
This boy was getting real busy. Should I splooge all over that wall or that wall? Then again, I do like that wall over there. Who stole my copy of Busty Flood? I have a job to do. But instead of the library feeling like a place you should not be, it was massive, it was ancient, it was creepy. Now it's bright, vibrant, and stylish. Just takes away with how you're supposed to feel. But then they also do that with the music. Perchance to Dream starts playing in the library. Yeah, this one. That's not scary. Happens a few times with the music.
That's
Choices were made. Could have stuck with the original music, but sure. But this happens quite a lot in the game. Whether it's music or art style, the atmosphere just isn't what it's supposed to be a lot of the time. Halo 1 is a game that uses atmosphere very well to create a sense of immersion for the player. So I was thinking...
See, it actually does look dark in the original version. Like you didn't know what was coming towards you. Like you guys remember like when Halo 1 came out and you were in the library and you're waiting for the flood like to come after you. First this one, then the other, but there's this line of darkness. And maybe part of that was, for graphical and processing purposes, but you're like, when is it gonna come out? Like you were anticipating it, but you still had no idea when the flood was gonna come out or which monster was gonna be on the other side of that shadow.
The game has turned into a bit of a horror shooter. Why don't we break it up a little? Bust a move. Break it down. It very much feels like a game having an identity crisis. It seems to me that the team was torn between being completely faithful to the original or modernizing it and making it more like Marvel. The 343 way, which we'll see in the prequel missions. I'll talk about those later. The original was also very clearly inspired by Aliens. They sort of lost that here because that combined with the Covenant and the Forerunner architecture made for a unique design in the original. And it doesn't feel like that anymore. It looks like Halo directed by James Gunn. Speaking of bad character choices, the character designs of characters that already exist is baffling. Sergeant Johnson looks like Steve Harvey, even smiles into the camera at one point for you. Keyes looks weird. Cortana, man, Cortana. Now I'm gonna disagree with my beautiful audience here and say that she's not chopped. When her face isn't moving, she looks okay, but then she starts talking, and Unreal Engine 5 shows us its skinwalker nature, and all of a sudden she looks like she's pretending to be a human. That goes for all of the characters. My issue with Cortana is more that this is another redesign of the character. How many times are we gonna change the way she looks?
Yeah, I mean, even right here, like they keep changing and changing and changing and changing it. Like it's fine to like adjust it for like the new graphical technology of the time, but it seems like that they just like every generation ever since. Not necessarily Halo 3, but after Halo 3, they just kept like, oh, she's going to look completely different this time. Why? Okay, whatever. And then they did it again. We're like, why again? Why are we doing this again? And then they go back to Halo 1. It's like, okay, we just don't trust you. They think Smash JT was right. The Troons are taking over.
Just make the Halo 4 design official and make everyone happy. Boggles the mind. Time for gameplay, boys. The meat on the bone. The part of the game that either has a standing to attention or soft and limp. No one wants to be soft and limp while playing Halo. Never. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room. Sprint. I'm something of a sprinter myself. Record holder for the year 8 100 meters. Probably the last time I sprinted, too. Anyway, it breaks the game, it really does. This is me running through the first part of Keyes, which is so much harder in the original that I'd rather just do the flood bump. The original has those death crevices where the fatties fall from the sky onto you. It's not really possible to outrun the flood unless you do speedrun skips in the original. I just run past them all to the lift here. It also makes the hunter...
So, when they announced the sprinting, and I think I did an X post on this. When they announced the sprinting, what I was hoping that the sprinting was there because I was like, okay, it depends on how they, mess with the game. Do they make it work, right? But the way that I was thinking, especially during the flood parts in certain areas, like maybe like something goes haywire in Master Chief's suit that takes away just takes away his sprinting power, so that like those areas in the flood and everything are more creepy. Because I remember Kata having that fear. It's like, can you imagine just being able to sprint away from the flood or all your enemies? And I think that's a really big concern. And apparently that's what ended up being the case. But I was hoping that the sprint would be taken away during certain segments, like there was issues with his armor or something. But nope. These people are not clever enough.
Fight's a bit of a joke because you can just run circles around them. It does break the game. I did sometimes reboot into factory settings and forget that I could sprint, and the pace of the game feels so much better that way. The game clearly isn't designed for sprint, and you run really fast. It's not optional. You need a skull to turn it off, and you need to find the skull first. In my opinion, it feels like it should be something you get from a skull instead of a skull taking it away because it feels like a huge buff. The plasma weapons can shoot you out of it, but it doesn't really matter. It's just sprint. You could just not use it. True, but new players won't think like that, and they'll just think it's bad design. I did really like the combat.
That is a good point. If you're able to just sprint past the enemies, then is it really a game? Especially this early on in the release. Already finding shortcuts like this that any player can figure out, not just speedrun demon geniuses.
Shooting the Covenant is satisfying. Headshotting a group of grunts is very pleasurable. I like how the elite still do that little hop after you headshot them. The shooting part of the game feels good, the grenades and the sticks feel good. It's where the game really feels like Halo. It's just fun. Although with how vibrant everything is now, the game has moments of visual diarrhea, where it's just a mess of colors. Punching enemies in the back feels good, the guns feel very strong. I think this is the strongest the assault rifle has ever felt. It just feels wrong. You can still noob combo, but the guns hit so hard I don't think you'll need it as much. Shooting the Flood, however...
Wait. Noob combo. Plasma pistol and magnum.
Oh, but the guns hit so hard I don't think you'll need it as much. Shooting the Flood, however... not so good. The original Halo didn't have crit points on the Flood. They added that in the later games, but they have them in this game. And I'm one-tapping them in this game. It's such a contrast to the original, where you're relying on a shotgun to kill them because everything else sucks against them. But yeah, it just made it so much easier. But it's not just shooting them. They feel dumber and less aggressive. Even on normal, they jump across the map at you and overwhelm you. It really feels like you're fighting off this relentless horde. And in the remake, it's just quite easy. And that's really the whole game. It's been dumbed down quite a bit. Wait, there's a room full of invisible enemies. How will the players know where they are? Yes, it's true, the game immediately tells you where the invisible enemies are. There is a lot of hand-holding here.
Yeah, even visually I can see this and I'm like, even when he's mentioning the Flood, I'm going, well, where's the Flood? They're called a Flood for a reason. They're supposed to flood you with anxiety.
Only thing it was missing was yellow paint. Sprint isn't the only thing they added to this game. You can hijack enemy vehicles now, which is cool. I like that. It made assault on the control room more fun, a bit more dynamic. You can drive the Wraith now. They took away health packs, which I'm not a fan of. I like that in the original. They've added a bunch of weapons in from the newer games. They all feel stronger here than they ever did, especially the SMG. It usually sucks. I always like the fact that newer games had new guns. Nothing progresses technology like war. But now the 2 and 3 remake will have the same guns. Yes, war. But now the 2 and...
The thing is, I think he's saying this without realizing that women essentially couldn't get killed in the game. I don't think he knew that yet.
3 remake will have the same guns. Yes, those will be remade too. I just feel like it takes away something. Maybe that's just me. No dual wield though, for some reason. Speaking of the guns, they just don't feel right. No, boys. No, these beautiful pieces of machinery did not feel good in my hands. The Magnum just feels weightless, doesn't feel like you're shooting anything. They changed the iconic sniper sound and got rid of the streak it left behind. The plasma rifle was great at killing the infection forms. The baby floods, they just don't feel...
See, this is why I don't think gamers are making these games. I think it's just people who know how to code. People that went to art design school. Graphic artists. Thinking that they were gonna, design for a magazine or a website, and they ended up in the gaming industry. That's what I think, that's how I think this happened. They didn't hire gamers. They just hired software developers, not devs. Does that make sense? I don't know, does it?
Right, kind of hollow, like they're just empty vessels shooting at the enemies. I don't believe in guns. I don't really know how they work. Bullets? What are those? Now, with Halo 1, there are some parts of the levels that they could remake and improve upon, especially the fucking library. The only way to play the library, in my opinion, is the speedrun method of grenade jumps and wall glitches. That level sucks. They did make some good changes to the level design while keeping it faithful to the original. With Truth and Reconciliation, they added bigger rooms in between the hallways so it's not so repetitive. With the Flood outbreak, they blocked paths and forced you into certain areas. To be fair to 343, they nailed 343 Guilty Spark. Very faithful, but I think they expanded...
Well, I don't know about that, Sylv. I don't know. I'm not up to date on that, if that is the case. But it does make you wonder why all the hitboxes from the women are moved. I just find it interesting. Yeah, liberal arts majors hired as a game dev. Yeah.
On the horror elements. There's less enemies when you're approaching the Flood room and it feels more eerie. 343 Guilty Spark is famously one of the more confusing levels in the game. Everywhere looks the same, so you just get lost. Of course, they hold your hand the entire time through this one, so you won't get lost. But with the Flood outbreak, they did differentiate some of the rooms, and I liked it. The only problem that level had is the scared Marine who shoots you because he's, well, scared. He tracks you in the original until you leave him alone. In this, he just shoots in front of him, and you get a skull from killing him. I never kill this guy in the original because it just feels kinda sad, but they just turned it into a bit of a joke here. easier. But now with the library, man, the fucking library. This was their chance to take a level and completely rebuild it. And it turned out to be a great example of why I think 343 don't make good Halo games. They did change it, but aside from the aesthetic which we talked about earlier, which does kind of ruin it, they just changed how you move through the level. You're not going through the same hallways as much now, there's more variety there, but it's the same formula of a locked door, hold out for a few minutes, and progress. They added a room with a puzzle though. Yeah, how about that?
Puzzles?
A puzzle. The puzzle was to push the button so the bridge appeared so you could go to the next platform. This will change gaming forever. Gaming will just never be the same. That's as creative as they get with it. We need to make this level more interesting. Make them press 5 buttons.
God, I love this guy's editing so much. Like, I still need to up my game on here. I need to up my level again. I'm still using Filmora, and I'm paying for it.
In a row. It's so disappointing, and it reminds me to keep my expectations low with 343. Actually, to have 0 expectations. Especially after those prequel missions. I did like some of the changes to the more though. They did handhold a bit more by putting the weapons room directly in the path you have to go to instead of around the corner. I know, difficult to find, it's a good job they changed that. And you don't have to get the explosion through the grate now, you just shoot it. But the Warthog run is great. I love the section with the ship split and you drive on the ground and back into the ship. That was really cool and it actually made more sense than the original Warthog run. So it's kind of a mixed bag with the level design. When they're making small improvements on Bungie's work, it's good mostly. When they have to do more work, it's not good. When they try and change it from the original for no reason, it's terrible. Why would you make us try and build a level from scratch? You know we can't do that. There's 3 games of proof. Finally, the story. Did they manage to not f*** that up? The story's the same, but the cutscenes are almost completely different. Sometimes they add cool little details like the fighting going on outside of the Pillar of Autumn. That was cool. The Guilty Spark cutscene was great, I really like that. Really stepped the game up into the horror elements. But for the most part, the cutscenes feel off. There'll just be long breaks in between people talking. Just awkward silences. At one point, we just stare at Sergeant Johnson doing nothing. They're poorly edited. In the original, the cutscenes would line up with how you finish the game because in some levels, you could finish in different areas. That's gone. It's the same every time now. They got rid of one of my favorites, the cutscene where the Marines and Chief go into the belly of the beast.
Why would you cut that? That's the moment you go, that's the oh shit moment. You go, well, there's a lot of oh shit moments, but that's a oh shit moment of, oh no, not again, no, 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 no.
Such a cool cutscene where the Marines and Chief are being sucked into the ship not knowing what to expect. The cutscenes end up taking away from the pace and the atmosphere for me. If someone told me they were AI generated, I'd believe you. The voice acting is bad, the new Sergeant Johnson is bad, and get this man his cigar. Keyes was also poor in this. Cortana, Jen Taylor, even has a bad performance. She's usually good even when the material is shit. They got rid of Sod Off. Why? Why would you do that? That cutscene in particular is excruciatingly painful. The Master Chief feels different. I thought it was a different voice actor at first, so I just need to read these lines that I've read before for a nice little paycheck. Nice. Nice. And there's pure forms in this game. How the f*** does that work? Why put them in and their introduction sucks? They just drop in front of you. So when you put it all together, I really just don't like this remake.
Yeah, it's like they're taking... Sorry if I'm not talking a lot, guys, because I haven't played Halo in years. So I'm kind of getting a refresher and be like, oh, yeah, this. But yeah, it looks like they're taking a lot of the heart and soul out of Halo. And at least according to his review on this game, it does kind of sound like a mixed bag. And it doesn't surprise me why... Let's see. Let's take a look here. SteamDB. Halo campaign evolved. All right, let's take a look. Okay, still not good. So I went like this, and then jump, then down, 13. It's 13, and then right now we're at 13. And then we go back to Halo, the Master Chief Collection. That's not good. Okay, let's go Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. There's no chart. Hold on. Okay. I don't know. It's not on SteamDB.
In my opinion, it's one of the worst remakes I've ever seen, up there with Resident...
Oh my god, it looks like Metroid Prime 4. That's exactly what it looks like. It doesn't feel like Halo. It feels like Metroid Prime 4. Because Metroid Prime... That's actually like that's the one that feels like newer technology, and this does not feel like ancient technology.
Evil 3. Because it's not that the game's bad or offensive or anything like that. It plays fine, not as good as the original, but it's okay. It's just that for me, they fail to understand what makes Halo Halo. Atmosphere, tone, pace of the gameplay, it's mostly all wrong. It sums up 343. I don't think they've ever known what makes Halo so special. It always felt like they were turning it into something they wanted it to be rather than appreciating it for what it was and expanding on that. There are
I need a jar for the Smash was right. He was right about the bisexual lighting and everything that came with it. He just was.
things that I like, but those things are because it's either from the original or it's slightly tinkering with it. It's a rushed mess. Genuinely feels that way. A game with an identity crisis. It's not completely awful. It's not the worst game in the world. You can have fun playing this. You'd probably have a blast with friends. I am biased because Halo 1 is a very special game to me. It's been one of my favorite games since I played it all those years ago with my dad. They haven't done it justice and it deserves better, which is why I hate it so much, just like Resident Evil 3. And where the nail hits the coffin on this burial of...
Thank God I wasn't a Resident Evil person, because the amount of crap that game got. I was playing Resident Evil 2, the remake, recently, but since I sold my PS5 and I had it on digital, yeah, I won't be able to play it until I get another PS5, which I don't see myself doing anytime soon. Man, I think that's the only reason I would get a PS5 again, just so I could play the games that I already bought. Fuck my life.
343, the prequel missions. They're bad. Oh my good goddamn! Wow!
I didn't even know there were prequel missions until now.
Wow. Seriously, wow. The gameplay is basically the same, but this time you've got the BR. Where did it go for the main game? Don't know. It's also the worst version of the BR I've ever used. The level design is bad. Hallways, then an open area with a bunch of enemies you have to kill. Can't move on even if a single enemy survives. Gotta milk that playtime, baby! But the real issue with these prequel missions is the story. It's terrible. Terrible! You're on a mission, Operation Meteorite, to find out where the Covenant homeworld is, high charity. But you get sidetracked and it turns into a rescue mission as well. It's not good. No. There is some interesting stuff here. You've got the Minister of Harmony experimenting on the different alien species of the Covenant. He even introduces them one by one in case you forgot, and they even do a little emote for you. Yes, that's actually in the game. Now this is where I was actually interested. I was like, this is cool. We're gonna see some ungodly experiments. Some disgusting, disfigured Covenant hybrids that are just ugh, and you gotta kill them. No! It's just souped up brutes that gameplay-wise means next to nothing. You can shoot the red glowy thing, they go berserk, and that's it. Somehow the AI is worse than it was in Halo 2 for these enemies. Don't know how that works 20 years in the future. That's incredibly disappointing. But the story isn't focused on this because it's focused on the rivalry between ODSTs and Spartans, centered around Lieutenant Williams. She hates Spartans and...
So they girl bossed it. That's what they did. They girl bossed it. They're just not going to learn anything, are they? Arsha, we need more cuts.
and just thinks they have good PR. It's in the law. It's in the law, you larper! Don't care. I don't need a mini-story dedicated to a stupid rivalry that doesn't even make sense. From what I remember, a young Master Chief kills a bunch of ODSTs in a fight from the Fall of Reach book. A fight that the ODSTs started and Master Chief just finished it. I also think the ODSTs were put up to it by command to see what Chief would do. I don't really remember. I don't like this book, and I don't like Chief's backstory.
Sergeant Sapient, don't make me think about it. Don't do that. Don't make me think about it.
There's also the fact that Spartans replace them. It doesn't matter how much lore you put into it. It does not make sense. She doesn't have to like him, but saying it's just a good PR campaign and he's not that impressive constantly in this little story makes no sense. The Minister of Harmony calls him the Demon. I think that sounds like someone who's been a little more than impressive. The story of these missions turns into Master Chief earning her respect. That's what they choose to focus on, not expand on the experiments or the Minister of Harmony, just this pointless story. It's so cringy. At one point, she's sitting on a throne of dead Covenant. Alright boys, what we're gonna do is pile up all the Covenant bodies right here, and we're gonna look really cool for Chief. And she says this line.
Spartans aren't the only badasses in the UNSC.
That's gotta be the cringiest line I've ever heard in Halo.
I remember in the original game, when Master Chief showed up, they're like, oh, thank God, we have a chance. Like every single time he appeared in front of Marines, they're like, oh, thank God you're here. Thank you for saving us. Holy shit, that was intense. Now we have some backup with Master Chief. Oh God, yeah, thank you. And now they're just like, you ain't that special. Like, no, he's a one-man war machine. And him having your back is probably the only way that you would survive. That's how intense the Halo battles were.
History. 343 decided to drop this girl boss to rival all girl bosses in this prequel campaign for no reason. It's meant to be about Chief and Sergeant Johnson, and then it becomes about her. She even sacrifices herself at the end, and I think I'm supposed to care. I didn't. Not at all. No. I don't even know what Marines are doing there, considering Covenant don't do prisoners, really. They're genocidal maniacs, and if Marines got captured, they didn't live long. Here, they're letting the Marines run around on this ship so they can hunt them down. Why would they give them weapons? It's just shit. It's just terrible. It would have been cool if instead of that, they were experimenting on humans that would get an emotional reaction out of the player and want us to kill the Minister of Harmony, who just gets away. After we were just listening to him monologue, just shoot him? Not once does it become part of the mission to kill him. You think it would be a priority to kill the mad scientist trying to create souped-up aliens? What are we doing? These missions are just badly designed, poorly written, the cutscenes are animated poorly, it's just bad. This is 343. This is what they're capable of, this is their Halo, and this is what the future of Halo looks like under them. I could talk about how bad it is all day, but this video is already way too long. The score for this game is don't buy it. Buy the Master Chief Collection instead. You get 5 great games and Halo 4, plus the multiplayer and Firefight and Forge. It's just a way better game that is always on sale. Halo Campaign Evolved is a sad reminder of how good Bungie were through 343's incompetence. There are some good things about it, sure, but there's too much bad and it should really be the most open of goals. Halo 1 is a masterpiece. It's not really a remake, it's more Halo 1 in 343's image, and the bonus missions are an extremely ugly reminder of what Halo looks like under 343. It has flopped to disaster level.
But they aren't Master Chief, Sergeant Sapien. But you have a point. They are a league beyond regular Marines. So I understand the point that you're making, but that's like comparing apples and a rocket ship in regards to ODST and Master Chief.
Flop. If Asher Sharma is gonna gut id for poor sales, then Halo Studios deserves the same, if not worse, considering what they're working on. But hey, you got the 2 and the 3 remake coming next, and possibly an extraction shooter. It's tough being a Halo fan. That's it from me. I'll see you in the next one.
And that was Clinic. Gonna share the video with you. Be sure to subscribe to Clinic.
Hey, thank you for watching this clip from my live stream. Please comment below, like, and subscribe. And be sure to subscribe to my main channel, where I do all these live streams and have my independent videos where I do deep dives. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you are somebody, I am nobody, and I hope you have a fantastic day.